We don't have to. Good. Okay. So I am really big into Rob Dial. I'm really big into finding yourself a podcast person that is all about mindset. If you have yet to have got to this point in your life, I suggest that you do it because it's all part about becoming your highest self. Becoming your highest self is about growing and continually growing. And a way to do that is to constantly invest in yourself and maybe to find somebody that resonates, that makes you think a little bit more, that holds yourself accountable, it makes you a little bit more self-aware, and those sorts of things. Once you become self-aware, you become a better business owner. It all ties into one thing. So Rob Dial actually, you can find him on Spotify, but his like mentor is Tony Robbins. And I will admit that like I heard of the name Tony Robbins before. If you guys know who Tony Robbins is, big thumbs up or let me know in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you know who Tony Robbins is. No? Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about him briefly. He is the #1 life and business coach in the world. He has helped all acting presidents like that have spoken, like have been acting, I guess like in his lifetime, minus the current one. So like whenever Clinton got impeached, Clinton called Tony Robbins the night before he was impeached, was like, what do I do? When Serena Williams was having a mental breakdown on the court because of her sister having passed away, Tony Robbins was the one who had to talk her off of that ledge. So he's really good at very high pressure situations and like digging people out of those things. And then just like, so he does all these different events is what I'm gathering. I'm still kind of new into him, but I fell in love with a few things he was saying and I wanted to share those with you guys. So one thing that he says is, how do you create lasting change? Okay. So if you've ever been at any point in time in your life where you've created some sort of lasting change, I'm going to use something that I've been working on as my example tonight, and that is getting sober. So I've recently reached 7 months of being sober. And I have been kind of going through this adventure. I'm co-authoring a book. Thank you guys. It wasn't meant to be like that, but my point being that like I realized that in getting sober, and the reason I've done this is because I created a lasting change in myself in the exact ways that he talks about, right? I realized the last night that I drank that I finally had a compelling future to live for. And so it was very easy for me to say, nope, no more, you won't do this. And I then focused on that future. But until you have, certain things in place, it is hard to make identity changes. So what we might have to do is we might have to redefine ourselves, right? So, and I loved this. It was something I think really helped me was I would like for us to get a new identity for yourself. Okay. So my identity up until this point, because it's a great time for it, y'all. Okay. We have a week to work on this as we're working our way into convention. So I don't know what you say about yourselves as a business owner, but I used to say things like, I don't have enough time to make my videos because I have a couple kids. Right. I used to say things like, whatever, like I don't have enough time for me to do what I need to do because I am the manager of 2 children and I'm a wife and I have to, maintain my household, and like it puts all this pressure on me. So I only have these 15-minute times and it's so hard to keep my focus. And all of this is true. But what's true is what you focus on. So what I really needed to do was I really needed to define and redefine the way I was focusing on things. And I was trying to look exactly in my notes because there was a part that I wanted to read to you guys. But basically what I've come up with is, instead of being a mom that manages my little people, right? Or I'm sorry, yeah, instead of being the mom that manages the little people, what I am is I am a mother who is capable of teaching my children how to manage themselves. And I am capable of articulating to my spouse how he can help me when I get stressed. That is my new identity. Those are things that I can change. They are things that I can tell myself that I am capable of doing, and I believe those things, and it will help me not be as stressed in the future. So that is something that I really just want to kind of put it out there. So I want you guys to think about this. So what are the things that you tell yourself that you are? Who are you telling yourself that you are? And I want you to try to just tweak. I don't want you to change who you are, but I want you to tweak the way you think about yourself so that you are your biggest cheerleader. right? You're no longer being held down by the things that are in your life, and you're waiting for time. You're waiting for the future to come about so you can be this better person. You're starting to be that better person tomorrow when your feet hit the floor, when you wake up. Okay. So if you want to take a minute to jot down maybe just your old belief, this is what I want you to know. I want you to know this is your old belief in yourself, and it's okay. And you are allowed to be very honest about this. So I'll just read a few things here, where he says that the most basic concept of change is energy. Okay. So to dislodge a normal pattern is actually going to require a high level of energy within yourself. So if you're not getting the result that you want in your life, it's time to increase your energy level. And as much as I actually hate this, the secret to it is to move. Okay. So one thing that Tony did was he literally moved for like 3 minutes every hour. He like puts on this pump up music and he gets you up and he's like dance around and jam. By the way, don't dance too much. You will throw out your back if you're my age. In case anybody wanted to know where the bake tape come from, I got a little too wild watching Tony Robbins this weekend, but but it works. I got to tell you what, because whenever you change your state, your emotional state, right? Like you actually change. When you change your emotion, you change your emotional state, because emotion is literally energy in motion. That is where the term comes from. Okay. So if you feel like you're let's just look at a whole bunch of different things. And I'm sorry that I'm really jumbled. I'm squirrely. You guys know this about me. That's why you're here, because you love my squirrely. So if you're thinking about patterns in your life, right? So dislodging these normal patterns is what we're talking about. So how do you normally sit whenever you're just like hanging out? How do you normally sit? Do you sit with your shoulders hunched forward and your back? Do you sit like this? Let me ask you a question. When you tell somebody no, what does your body do? No, right? When you're depressed, when somebody is depressed, how do they sit? Oh, woe is me, right? All right. When you say yes to somebody, what does your body do? Yes, right? Your shoulders come up, your chest pops out, you get a little yes, usually, right? You have a little bit more energy behind it, right? These are all little things within your life that you might be able to start noticing now that I've pointed them out to you, that even such things such as patterns in the way that we sit and we move start to dictate your mood from day to day. Literally just sitting up straighter, doing the pose. It's called the warrior pose. Okay. It's this pose where you stand like this with your hands on your hips, like Superwoman, Wonder Woman. Oh, this pose alone, if you were to stand there for 2 minutes, will decrease your anxiety. It will raise your happiness hormones. It will raise your serotonin, and it will decrease cortisol. Right. So there are literally just ways you can physiologically change your body to help your state of mind. So I want you all to know that as well as you go into your future. The days that come across and you feel like you're a little extra depressed, if you notice your shoulders are slumped, roll them babies up, man. Do some shoulder rolls, put your arms out and do some shoulder rolls going backwards. Okay. Like we're going to get ourselves a little bit more, just a little bit more in a happy state of mind before you start wanting to make these changes. Okay. You're not going to be in the mood to rewrite your identity change if you're sitting like this. You're not going to change yourself from, oh, I'm a mom who can't do it because my kids are so depressed that you're not going to be able to change from that to, I can teach my children how to manage themselves unless you can do this. You know what I mean? So the point is also to learn how to change, like I said, your body, your physiology, because now I'm going to go into why. This is how you create a new identity for yourself. So I wish I had a way to share my screen, but I don't. So you're just going to have to trust me about doing something. Okay. You guys got your pen and paper? I want you to draw a triangle, and in the center of your triangle, you're going to write the word state. In order to change your state, you need 3 things to change. Along the bottom line of your triangle, you're going to write physiology. On the left side of your triangle, you're going to write the word focus. And on the right side of your triangle, you're going to write the word language. At the top of this, you can write create a compelling future. This is the reasons that you're going to use your skills. And on the bottom of this, write identity shapes your choices. Right, and then I said here, we don't do what we can, we do what we believe we are. It's the truth. How many times have you said, I can't do something, but you in fact can do it, but you're not going to do it because you believe you're the mother who can't control her children, so she has no time. Whereas if you believed you were the mother who had the ability to teach their children to do something for themselves, you might have the confidence that you could grab a coloring book, sit them down at the table, and discipline them enough to get them to focus. And then you can go and do the things that you want, right? Am I kind of making sense about all of this? And this is, again, I know that a lot of this relates to me. I'm just sharing it with you, and hopefully you guys can put it to your own lives a little bit. But physiology is the way that you feel. Most people, and this is also goes to my new theme of how I am going to start attacking my business again. I am going to start just adding value to my audience all the time. I don't care if they shop with me or what. My audience, I want my audience to be ADHD moms, people who have anxiety, and how to help them not have those things. Sometimes it might be my product, sure, but sometimes it might be telling them about the warrior pose. Sometimes it might be telling them that redefining themselves is going to help them. So I'm going to go do the work on myself that I need to do so that I can also share this with my audience, because it's something that I can give them. All right. You don't have to do that, but the reason I also say this is because most people, whenever they change their physiology, they change it by adding a substance, but you actually don't even have to do that, right? I showed you guys, you can stand in certain ways. There's certain ways you put your body that actually change the way you feel. So anytime you feel like you need to change the way you feel, how about trying for a moment just to get up and move a little faster, to be more active and to smile, right? 30 seconds of facial aerobics will do wonders whenever you are frowning all the time. And just, it looks funny. It looks super funny, right? Like, right? Like, but you do those things, you have over 72 muscles in your face. If you are constantly just sitting there with RBF, you ain't using them, right? You have so many muscles that you can move your face to so much. It gets very interesting. You can also do that. You can feel the changes within yourself when you talk with emotion. So sit up, shoulders back. Like I said, changing your focus. What are you grateful for? What are you grateful for, you guys? We are going to stop looking at the negative in the situations. We are going to start looking at the positives more often. This was something that was really, really good, because I don't have a great money mindset all the time. But it really hit me hard when he said, what do you want money for? Do you want pictures of dead people on paper? Is that what you want money for? No, right? We want money because we want security, but we also want to be able to give things away. And these are feelings, right? You can still feel those things without ever having the money, you guys. You just have to focus yourself like you have the money. You just have to think like you already have the money, and you can still feel those things that will put you in the state of mind of wanting to do the work and wanting to get out there and put yourself out there so that you can, in fact, have those things to give to people so that you can have that security. You can't focus on the fact that you don't have it now. You have to focus on the fact that you will have it in the future. And subconsciously, that is going to change the way you do things and the way you feel inside. And whether or not you're feeling good or bad, hopefully you're going to be ready for change, right? And the last thing was, like I said, change your language. There are words that we use all the time. I'm not reading the comments in the chat. Just see if I broke fish. We use different words all the time. I am really guilty of this, okay? And I'm going to work on it. But like things like, you felt stabbed in the back, right? Somebody might say, I felt like they stabbed me in the back whenever they did that. Okay. Did it really feel like somebody stabbed you in the back? Okay, no, it didn't feel like they stabbed me there, but but it hurt a little bit, you know, it tugged at my heartstrings a little bit. Like, okay, well, that's a little different than somebody stabbed you in the back, like with a knife, you know, a little jarring thing. So there are just choices and words that we use. Instead of saying that you're like so pissed off at something, Tony gave the option of, there was a guy in his, like, they had done this deal or whatever, and they found out they're losing a whole bunch of money. And the guy says he was peeved. I thought that was a beautiful word. So he says he's peeved instead of he's pissed off. And I just think it is hilarious. Like, I can't even hardly say that without barely smiling. So it's like one of those things where instead of being like, I'm so pissed off, why don't you like just tell yourself to use the word peeved and see if you can really stay mad? Or is it the pattern of your language choice that is keeping you in these emotional states? That's what I'm trying to get you guys to see. So if anybody else has been having a hard time, now that I've spoken for a while, I will say, find yourself a new identity. I have faith that you can actually, like, you'll be able to dig yourself out of whatever hole that you were in if I have done it. Okay. Because I actually did. I went through this. I am happy to like type up some notes or to share some notes with you guys, like note graphics, you know what I mean, that are a little easier to follow than my squirrely self. But I hope that this helped. If anybody has any questions, please type them. I know we have a corporate training a little bit later, but I just wanted to point out again, this change in identity within yourself. We're all going into convention. We are going to be hopefully being taken care of. I know that they keep saying that there is more money coming. I know it seems like they're taking a lot of things away, but I do believe it's because they couldn't pay us in the ways that they want to if we still had all those other things in place. So it's a brief shift in time right now. And so I am going to recreate my identity as somebody who is ready to give back to everybody, regardless if they can or can't shop with me, and to help the mental health of the world. That is my mission. My mission is to help everybody's mental folks be better, regardless. And hopefully that in turn will get people to, you know, see that I have a bigger mission and refer people to me as well. And I hope that it works out for all of you if you decide that that's something you want to do. Can you please put the triangle with the other statements on a graphic? Yes, I can. Let me write that. So don't forget it. The identity triangle. It's a good one. I didn't type up notes whenever I was listening to this thing, but I handwrite all my notes, but there are plenty of people who did, and I've copied them, so I'll share this with you guys, but I can't take credit for them. They weren't actually mine. I literally have like notebook, pen and paper. This is me, like pages upon pages upon pages. I know it doesn't really seem like it, but I'm telling you, I took like 25 pages of notes and listened to 12 hours of Tony Robbins this week, and it was insane. I don't know why, but
I mean, you obviously needed to hear him, and like, he's, you know, look, mindset is everything. How we speak to ourselves is everything. It really is. Like, you know, you were saying about posturing up. And not like the posturing up, but changing your posture. And I wrote posture up, like, as like we were doing the triangle, because I felt like it is about that sometimes. You know, you just got to posture up depending on your situation. But I had a yoga teacher that every time we did like warrior two, you know, which is like this stance where you go to the side, she would say, make eye contact with yourself and have a really proud chest. And I always was like, I've only had one teacher that's ever said that. And I thought to myself, that's interesting. And she always, it's because like a lot of teachers say like, you know, open your chest, but she's like, she called it a proud chest. And I was like, I like that. And it was more like carry pride with yourself. And I was like, that's interesting now. So like every time I do like warrior two now, I like make sure like, I'm like, damn, she like, it like stuck in my head. And I'm always like proud chest myself up like a little bit. Just, you know, it's the dumb things. It's the dumb little things. And like, I've been doing warrior twos. I've been practicing yoga for 20 years. And all of a sudden some lady 4 weeks ago comes in out of nowhere, teaches the class. She was like a substitute teacher and she says proud chest, and it like has stuck with me. And I'm just like, wow, she's right. Because you're right. When you walk around like this and you're like looking down, like you're not inviting, nobody wants to talk to you like that. Like, I don't know. People, you know what I'm saying? But if you're walking around and your shoulders back with a smile on your face, you're a hell of a lot more approachable. Like, you know, and Jenny's right about that. I love that. I love everything that you said. So we've got like 8 minutes before our corporate call starts. We got Travis and Kristen tonight. So opportunity call is a great time to get anybody on that like maybe you've been chatting with. You can send them the link or you can send them the live directly to like their messenger. You can also tag them in it, but I like to send it to people because the problem with tags is that like if that person is busy and they have one post that pops off and they get a ton of notifications, they're not going to see that you tagged them in something tomorrow morning. They're not going to see it. But if you send it directly to their messages, then at least tomorrow morning they'll be like, oh, what did this chick send me? What did she send me? Let me see it. You know, so it will be there. And then you can always message and be like, if you pop on, tag me. Like they always do a giveaway. And it's just a great way to get some third party validation. And it's great to hear from our CEOs too. They always host the first and the last week of the month. So, and I don't, you know, who knows? I think we're about to see so many amazing changes. Like Jenny said, like they have to get rid of some things in order to bring in new to be able to do more amazing things with us. And I think that we're about to see some real changes. And I think we're about to change so many lives together, you guys. I really do. I just keep having this like overwhelming feeling because I don't know. I just feel it. Like there's this huge shift coming. And I just feel like next week is going to change all of our lives for sure. I'm super excited. Don't beat yourself up. It's very overwhelming this week, girl. It's very overwhelming. I can agree, but you're doing a good job. You're gonna kill it. Nobody in that room is going to boo you. Like, that's the other thing. Let me just say that there's not one person that's gonna stand up and be like, Jessica, you suck, get off that stage, and start throwing stuff at you, right? Nobody's gonna do that shit to you. Even if you get up there and you cry, you're gonna make others cry. And that's like you're evoking an emotion out of people. And that's a good thing, you know. Just be real, be honest, be who you are. I know you're gonna kill it. I know next weekend is gonna be magical for everybody. And I just can't wait to be together. I can't wait to like squeeze each other. We're not gonna have a call next week, just so we're clear. We will be busy. Chris, you can unmute yourself. Yeah, chat. Go for it. I'm gonna stop this